Well, hello, everyone. My name is Alex Sanger. I am with Keller Williams Capital Properties in the Rockville, Maryland office, which is a suburb of Washington, D.C. So tonight we are going to be talking about lead follow-up. Specifically, hang on, let me get over here. Specifically, can you see that, Angie?
Yes.
Okay. Is this thing blocking anything by chance?
I see session 10, session 11, KWU evaluation. And to the left is Ignite at Night agenda.
Okay, very good. So we are going to be focusing tonight on keeping every lead and following up with leads. So it's actually 2 Ignite sessions for the price of 1 in the same amount of time. So you're going to get a big bang for your buck. We're going to go a little bit fast. If you have questions or you have anything you need to talk about, make sure you put it in the chat, and Angie will be monitoring that. Angie Montgomery is also from the Maryland area. She's assisting me tonight. And so make sure you put any questions in the chat that she can follow up with. So let me first introduce you to myself. My name, again, is Alex Sanger. I am a goofy guy, and I love to have fun. And on top of that, I've been in the business for over 20 years. Okay. So you're learning from somebody that has been where you are, has been through the ebbs and flows of the market, has seen just about every market that we've had in modern days. And I'm also one of the top agents in the DC metro area. In fact, we were just invited to a top 5% top agent mastermind last week. Recognized by things like Bethesda Magazine, Real Producers Magazine, Washingtonian Magazine. Some of those are local magazines. Also recognized by Keller Williams International as a top agent in real estate. All of that being said, I know what I'm talking about, or at least these people think I do. In addition to that, I am also a best-selling author on Amazon. I have 2 books that I've published. The one that's called Real Agent Advice for those people that are new agents, which the majority of you are. I definitely encourage you to go to www.realagentadvice.com. Write that down, realagentadvice.com. There you will find over 250 videos of interviews that I conducted with other agents from across the country. I went to family reunion and I simply asked them the question, what are 3 things you wished you knew or somebody had told you when you first got started in the real estate business? And that book is a compilation of the 100 best answers to that question, but the videos are free. So you can get the book on Amazon if you want, or you could just go to YouTube and type realagentadvice.com and it'll take you right to the YouTube channel. In addition to that, I am certified as foreclosures and short sales, a professional realtor since 2003. I'm an ePro, so I have a lot of experience with the online marketing side of things. I am also a Buffini Peak Producers mentor and instructor, as well as a trainer and mentor at Keller Williams Capital Properties. And I am in the process of getting my Keller Williams University certification. So I'm hoping that throughout the process today that I will earn a 5-star review from all of you, okay? And if I'm not giving you a 5-star experience, that's not the right wording, but that, you know what I meant. Make sure that you let me know why I'm not giving you a 5-star experience. Ultimately, if you walk away today with 1 golden nugget, I've done my job. If you walk away with more than that, well, then I've exceeded your expectations, okay? You will see this later on in the process. After we go through the first session, I'll show it to you. After we go through the second session, I'll show it to you. And all I ask is that you go ahead and give me your honest review of 5 stars. I'll earn 5 stars, okay? All right, so the first session, by the way, Angie, let's just do a quick recap. What are a couple of the answers to the question, what do you guys want to get out of this session today?
Okay, so a lot of people, it's a variation on the same theme, and that is, how do I lead generate? Once I have a lead, how do I follow up? How do I automate the follow-up? And how do I, what are the best ways or different ways to obtain leads from open houses?
Okay, fantastic. So we're pretty much going to cover all of that, if not most of it. And so you came to the right place, in the right thing. All right. Any questions before we get started? Everybody nod your head no, and let's get going. All right. So um, this session specifically is keep every lead. So when you get a lead, like getting a lead is a really hard thing to do, right? And when you get that lead, you want to make sure you make the most of it. By the way, one of the things we do have to evaluate is like what is an actual lead, right? Um, and the definition of a lead is really somebody that you connected with and you made a meaningful relationship with that has said that they may or may not think about doing something with real estate. Why do they may not? Right? Most people think of a lead as somebody that says, yes, I want to buy or sell a house right now. But to me, yeah, that's a lead. But for me, it's more than just a lead. It's a relationship and it's the start of a relationship. This business is not a series of transactions. This business is a series of relationships that you foster and that you turn into transactions. Okay. Um, all right. So becoming a real estate expert is the first step in your process, right? You got your training. You need to go the next, you need to do your lead generation. Now, keep in mind, you have already been through other Ignite sessions, right? So you learned what it means to be an expert. They started you on your career path. You got your license. They talked to you about what it means to be a realtor. The last 4 or 5 sessions were all about generating leads, right? So how do you generate leads? Well, they talked about this in terms of open houses, social media. Maybe you're a mom or a dad that has a kid that plays soccer, right? And you go to the soccer field and you're watching your kid at practice or you're watching kid at a game. And one of the things that you're doing is you're turning to the person next to you and you're just getting to know them because this is the first time your kids have played soccer together, baseball together, football together, volleyball together, whatever it is. And you simply turn to them and you say, so what do you do for a living? And then they're going to tell you what they do for a living, right? And then you give them the pregnant pause. And then what's the very next question they're going to ask you? Well, what do you do for a living? Right? And then that's your opportunity to open it up. Well, I sell houses for a living. Oh, you do. And you know what the first question is going to be that they're going to ask? How's the market? Right? And the answer to how's the market is, well, it depends, just like every answer in real estate. Well, it depends. Are you thinking about buying, selling, renting, or investing? And because the problem that most people face when they're asked that question, how's the market, they just start spouting off. Well, the interest rate just dropped, today by 0.5%. So the Fed, the market's going to start rallying. Blah, blah, blah. Well, you don't know what they're asking about, right? That's great that the interest rate just did its thing, but I actually have a house to rent, right? So that answer doesn't actually apply to me. So asking that question of, well, it depends. Are you thinking about buying, selling, renting, or investing is a qualifying question that you can ask to that person that you're talking to where you're generating this lead. Okay. So you want to make sure you ask that question. Then they're going to tell you their life story. Oh, I'm just curious. We're not moving. We live down this street and I just wanted to know if the values have gone up. Oh, well, I'd be happy to do a free evaluation for you. Or better yet, this is going to be something that we're going to talk about later, but better yet, if you all have command, and since you're all at KW, I know you do, if you all have command, one of the tools we have is our smart plans. And not today, but Thursday, they can talk to you about setting up smart plans. But one of the things that you can do in the smart plans is they have what's called a neighborhood snapshot. Okay. And so when I'm having that conversation with that, in my case, volleyball, so I'm a volleyball coach, I talk to a lot of volleyball parents. When I'm talking to that volleyball mom or dad, I'm going to say, well, you're asking about the value of your home. I have this neighborhood snapshot tool that allows me to send you a link once a month of what the value of your home. And the great thing about it is you don't actually have to call me. You just click on the link. You can go in, you can see the value of your home. In fact, if you have a second home or a vacation home, it'll share with you the value anywhere in the United States if you have another home. So you can set up your own little profile. It's a great tool. Is that something that you'd like to receive? And you know what they're going to say? Yes, yes, it is. Right, Alexis? Right. They're going to say, yes, that's what I want. I want to have that information. Right. And you know what I'm going to do? As soon as they do that, I am going to pick up my phone and I'm going to open up a new contact and I'm going to hand them my phone and I'm going to go, great. Can you go ahead and enter your contact information? So I'm not going to ask them, how do you spell your name? What's your email address? What's your phone? I'm just going to open up a new contact and hand them my phone. And what's great about that is that you're going to get more accurate information than if you actually did a registration or anything else. They're going to type in the correct spelling of their name. They're going to put in their phone number. And then you want to make sure you say, by the way, make sure you put in the address of the property you want me to pull up in the system. Okay. So now you've got their name, first and last name. You've got their cell phone number. You've got their email address. Oh, by the way, I need the email address you want me to send that to. Now they're going to put their email address and they're going to put their home address. You've got all that information from that interaction, not because you asked, but because you handed them your phone. Okay. So it's one of the best ways in 20 years. By the way, 10 years ago, we couldn't do this. Like, it was a flip phone. You didn't do that, right? These days, you have the ability of just handing them their phone. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to pull up your own contact in your phone, okay? And so, in my case, I'm going to go to my phone real quick here. In my case, I have my phone. I've got a picture of myself in there. I've got all my contact details, my email address, my cell phone number, my website. I've got my handles for all my social media. I've even got my birthday in there. And then at the end of my name, I put a little house emoji. Okay. At the end of my last name, I put a little house emoji. And then what I'll do is I'll just forward them the contact because now they've just entered their information in my phone. Okay. So that is one of the best ways to make sure that you get accurate information when you're connecting with people. So now you've done that, right? You've got that person, you've added them now into your database. I gave you a tool, by the way. You guys were asking, how do I get more leads? Just go do the stuff you normally do and ask the question, so what do you do for a living? And let them ask it back. And then you tell them. And then they'll answer what they want in terms of the market. You can use this tool, okay? So now that you've generated your leads, maybe you did open houses, right? Open houses, same type of thing. By the way, at an open house, I don't know what they taught you when you learned it from the person you were dealing with, but what I do is I always have a Google form that I have them complete, and I create a QR code. I put it out in front of the open house. I make them scan the QR code with their phone, because guess what? When they fill out a form on a Google form and they're doing it on their own phone, the system is automatically going to suck in their phone number, their email address, like all that stuff is going to be correct. If you use one of those paper forms at the open house, now all of a sudden, well, the last person didn't put phone number, so the next person doesn't put phone number and all that kind of stuff. So using a form is a great way to go ahead and capture those leads from your open house. Once you capture them, one of the questions that I saw there was, how do I follow up with open house leads? One of the things that you put in that form that they fill out at the very bottom is, by submitting this, you're giving me permission to follow up with you. Okay. And so when they hit submit, they've already said yes, that you can follow up with them. Now, come Monday morning, let's assume you did the open house Sunday, you're going to call everybody else that came to the open house. Hey, I just wanted to check in with you, and I wanted to make sure that you had all the information you needed about the house. Did you like it? You think you'd like to place an offer? You're working with an agent? You're not working with an agent? Can I help you? Right? So you're following up with them. And so maybe they say, no, that's not the right house for me. Can I stay in touch with you? That would be great. Okay. So that's now the stage that we're at in terms of keeping every lead. All right. Any questions so far?
All I'm seeing in the chat box here, Alex, is that people are just really curious about really nailing the open house. And then some local area issues and, with Ashley in Canada. And also, how can we make a Google form?
Okay, so any technology questions that you have are not going to be covered during this session. Those are all questions that are going to be covered on Thursday. So take every technology question that you have, By the way, yes, include it here in terms of your questions, but just know that the answers for that are either going to be through your tech ambassador in your office or are going to be answered on the Thursday call for this Ignite at Night. Okay. All right. Let's keep going with keeping every lead. All right. So, got too many things open in front of us. So, right now we're focusing on what is a lead. Now, when you think about when people move, right? People move at various times in their lives, but on average, the average person moves about every 7 to 10 years. Okay. And this diagram kind of shows you where that what that looks like. Okay. Um, in other words, um, everyone in your database lives on some point in this wave curve. At the top of the wave is when they purchase a home. The day after they buy a house, they move down the wave and continue until the beginning of the next phase of their life. And now they're actually ready to buy another home, maybe two, maybe three, right? So in the lifespan of your relationship with your client or your lead or your database people, they may move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and you want to make sure that you're actually communicating with them. Now, if I go up the curve right before that move, right, and if I gave you a lead at that moment, what do you think would be how would you classify that lead? So go ahead and in the chat, tell me, how would you classify that lead? If I brought you up that curve and you were coming to the top of that curve, what would you say? Angie, go ahead and list off a couple of the answers.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself real quick. Yes, so we have here sizzling. Brenda was like sizzling. Alexis, a lead. Brenda, or Christian, hot leads.
Right. So most likely you perceive that as a high quality lead. That is somebody that is close to being ready to purchase again. Now, what if I gave you a lead that was right after that moment, right after they purchased a home? How would you classify that lead? And Angie, go ahead and read off some of the answers there.
No problem. Cold, nurture. Yeah. So a couple of people understand it's a lead to be nurtured and that it's a cold lead.
And that's exactly right. So it's, some people would think it's a bad lead, right? Well, the reality is there's no bad lead, right? Every lead in the wave somewhere, that lead eventually turns into future business. Now, by the way, how many of those cycles do you think I've seen in the 20 years that I've been in the business, right? I didn't just help somebody buy a house, I helped them sell a house, and then I helped them buy another house. And maybe they're on their third instance, or maybe they now have kids that are thinking about buying a house, or maybe they're now thinking about buying a second home or a vacation home, right? So the buying isn't necessarily just where they live now. It could also be somewhere else, right? Or it could be, they're getting a divorce and now they have to sell one house and buy two.
Or a work transfer.
Or a work transfer. Or maybe, maybe they are going to have a baby and they have a growing family. Or maybe their sister's moving in with them or their parents are moving in with them. Or maybe they are the parents and the kids of, they're empty nesters, right? So there's lots of different phases in terms of when they move. Now, here's the thing. When I deal with my prospective clients, my database, I never ask the question, are you thinking about moving? I always ask the question, who do you know that might be thinking about moving that I should talk to, right? Who do you know that might be thinking about moving in the next 3 to 6 months that I should have a conversation with? Okay. That is a way for me to connect with them and ask the question without saying, are you moving? Right. And being kind of creepy about it. Because the reality is that nobody wants you to ask them constantly, are you moving? Are you moving? Are you moving? Are you moving? Like no one wants that. But if you ask them, who do you know that might be thinking about moving that I should talk to? Now they're not thinking of, is somebody moving? They're thinking of a name of somebody that might be moving. Okay. So that's a way for you to connect with them. And I'm going to give you a little bit more context with that in a little bit. And by the way, we are going to have a role playing exercise in a little bit. I'm going to do a role play with somebody, and I'd like you, if you're interested in doing a role play with me, if you're like, married, have a couple of kids and a pet, let Angie know that you'd be interested in doing a role play with me. Okay. All right, let's keep going. All right. So possible business, probable business, and a profitable business. So what we're trying to do with any lead that we get is we're trying to turn them in from possible business into probable business. And by the way, how many people in your life have to live somewhere?
Everybody.
Everybody has to live somewhere, which means that everybody on the planet, quite frankly, everybody that is a potential client. Or who else do they know? They know other people that are probably going to need a place to live too. So that means every relationship, every person can be a relationship that can turn into not possible business, but probable business. It's just a question of where are they in that curve. Okay. Did they just buy? Did they just move? Or has it been a while and maybe they're ready for an upgrade? So your job is to take that person from a possible business to a probable business. And that's what we're talking about today. All right. By the way, if you aren't the first or second person in the mind of the person, you probably won't get the business. Do you know how many people they have room for in their head in terms of any occupation? Like, how many electricians do you have in your head right now? How many handymen do you have in your head right now? How many plumbers do you have in your head right now? The answer is either one or two. Your job, when it comes to the realtor that's in their head, your job is to make sure that you're one of those two people that they think of when it comes to real estate. And by the way, in order for you to get that spot in their head, you have to have two things. Okay. By the way, you guys can turn your cameras on. You have to have two things in order to be that person in their head. Can anybody tell me what those two things are? Anybody go ahead and throw it up in the chat. Tell me what the two things are that you think that you need in order to be one of those people in the head. Angie, do we have any responses?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet. You guys suck. Come on.
Come
Put
on,
up,
team.
people.
Come on.
I'm sitting here. I'm talking. I'm
Value.
interacting.
Okay, we have Brittany and Brenda and Alexis saying value, be top of mind, relationship, top of mind, confidence.
Okay.
All those are great things. Yes.
All of those are great answers, but they're not what I'm looking for. And I'm going to
knowledge of real estate.
Yes.
Follow up.
Okay, so knowledge of real estate. So here's one
Contact.
thing that you need to be that person. Okay, there's two things. The first thing is they need to see you as an expert in the business. Okay, they need to see you as an expert in the business. Okay, what does that mean? How do you become the expert in the business for them? Well, if they meet you at an open house, actually, it's a little bit easier than other places. If they meet you at an open house, you're already at a listing, so they know like you're in the business because you're actually at the open house. By the way, it doesn't even have to be your open house. You can do an open house for another agent. Okay, so you're at the open house
in your brokerage.
You can do so. You're at the open house, they meet you, they start asking you questions, and you start spewing out all kinds of really relevant information about the neighborhood, about comps, about the house down the street that sold. By the way, if you're doing an open house, I highly recommend that you go and do a pre-showing for yourself of every other house that's in that neighborhood before you get to the open house, so that when somebody comes in and says, well, what about that house down the street? Oh, well, that one's missing, lights in every room, and the carpet smells like, dog, and blah, 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 right? So you have the knowledge to be able to talk about what's happening in the neighborhood. So now all of a sudden they're going to say, wow, that person really knows what she's talking about, right? Right, Cameron? Yeah, she gave me a thumbs up. See, because she has her camera on, so I can talk to her, but the rest of you,
yeah,
anyway.
Come on. It's so hard to talk to blank boxes, everyone. Turn on the camera.
Erica's talking to somebody else right now, but she's got her hand over her mouth like she's not. I'm not talking to anybody, Alex. I just got my hand over my. Oh yeah, you got busted, Erica. But see, that's the point, right? I want you guys engaging, right? I want you guys be part of this. Okay, Arnold. All right. Anyway, so you're at the open house. You give them lots of information about the neighborhood, about the house, about the other houses. Are they going to perceive you as potential expert? You can nod your heads by that. This works too. You can nod your heads. Yes. Okay. So they'll perceive you as an expert. Okay. But you know what? They just met you. So you know what they don't have with you yet? They met you and they perceive you as an expert, but they don't have the second thing is trust. They don't trust you yet. Okay. Because you haven't built that relationship with them yet. So it's very difficult because trust is something that's built over time. And we're taught, go out and get that lead, get that lead, get that lead, get that lead. Well, that's great. But, unless they trust you, they're not really going to hire you. So you have to find your way to connect with them on a personal level so that they understand that you're honest with them. You're telling them the truth. You're on their side. Once you have trust and they perceive you as being a professional in your business, now they'll actually do a piece of business with you. Okay. And through the process of lead follow-up and nurturing your database and converting those people from a lead to a person in your database, that's the process that you're going to take to build the trust and build the fact that they understand that you're a professional in your business. Okay. Any question on that so far?
We are doing good in the chat boxes. A couple people, just so you know, Alex, are at work and they're listening from work. So they're doing it on the sly. So thank you to those. Thank you to everyone for just being here. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, we're not critical of you not, doing whatever, but the more engaged you are, the more you're going to get out of it. All right. All right. So if you're one of the first or second people in their head, they're going to remember you and they're going to actually call you. Right. And by the way, they could know somebody for 20 years like me, and you could be the next person that comes along and you just did something or said something or had a relationship with them that was different than the other person, and you can trump that other person. So just because you're new in the business doesn't mean you can't take over that spot. Okay. You just have to connect with them at a level the other person hasn't, because maybe that person that they've known for 20 years, they think of as an expert in the field, but they maybe don't trust them. Okay. If you can build that trust and then you can start building that relationship in terms of being the expert, you're going to be able to replace that other person. Okay. All right. How to follow up with a lead. So this here is actually one of the things that, excuse me, that Keller Williams preaches. Okay. And we're going to talk about this specific model and mindset. First, we're going to focus on the lead side of it. Okay. So Keller Williams has this concept of a 19 to connect, right? So it's the number of touches you need to have with that person that you met. Okay. This is somebody you met at the open house. This is the mom you talked to at the volleyball match, or at the dog park or wherever. This is the person that you connected with to get their information, but you haven't actually cemented the relationship to maybe get them in your database. So let's just take the open house. Well, person comes to the open house. I'm just browsing. I'm just starting. I'm probably going to be looking in like a year. No problem. It's still a lead that came in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a plan that's going to touch them 19 times a year. 4 of those touches are going to be phone calls. What do you need in order to make a phone call?
A phone.
Well, you need a phone, but you need their phone number, right? So you need to have a phone. You need to have their phone number. That's, again, one of the reasons you hand them our phone to get their contact information, or we make them fill out a Google form. Second, we're going to have 12 touches. We can do a monthly email, a newsletter, a market report, a video, whatever it is. We want to make sure that we're connecting with them on a regular basis monthly. Okay. And this is the nice thing about this particular item, is that this is 12 electronic touches. Okay. And usually that's going to be email. Okay. So for example, I send out a newsletter every month. I use MailChimp. Okay. But what I also do is I have that market snapshot, right? All of you have access to that market snapshot. If you have their address, by the way, it doesn't matter if they own the house or if they're renting, because even a renter wants to know what's the value of the house that I'm living in. Because guess what? If they're renting that, there's a good chance they can actually afford to buy it. They just haven't saved up the money. So if they know how much the house is that they're living in, now they have a goal. I need to save money so that I can buy one just like this in this neighborhood. Okay. So I'm going to send out my market snapshot through command. And now I've touched them once a month. Okay. Then I'm going to have two touches, which are going to be promotional direct mail, maybe a magnet or a calendar or printed market report. By the way, if you don't have anything, you can look up their address, go into the MLS, do basically like a CMA for them, which is a comparative market analysis. Here are all the homes that have sold in the last 6 months, and put them together in a spreadsheet and print it out, put it in an envelope and mail it to them. Okay. So that's something that you can do. And if it's only twice a year, well, okay, so you have 100 people in your database. So spend the next week punching out 100 of these things. Okay. And that's for people that don't really have a lot of money and maybe aren't going to do some sort of a promotional item. Something else that you can do is you can actually put together a promotional item. I've done things like cell phone chargers, which have different things in them. And it says, Alex Sanger, your Maryland and Washington, D.C. referral agent. And then with my phone number and contact details. So you can actually buy stuff. I like to use 4imprint.com. You've probably seen some of the commercials online. The number 4 and then imprint, IMPRENT.com. Great place to get stuff that at an affordable price. I don't get anything if you use them. Or you can set up, some other sort of thing that you do. Another thing you can do with this specifically is you can do door knocking, knock, knock, knock. Hey, I just wanted to stop by and I wanted to give you this little gift just to kind of remind you that I'm in real estate. Who do you know that might be thinking about buying or selling that I should talk to? Nobody. Hey, it was great seeing you. I'll see you again. And then the last one that's on here is One Touch, an annual event or party, maybe a movie screening or a get together. Our office likes to do a Great Pie giveaway coming up in November for Thanksgiving. I invite everybody in my database, and I've got over 1,000 people that I send this out to. And you know how many people show up after sending it out to 1,000 people? About 30. So you might think, oh my God, I can't buy pies for 1,000 people. You're not going to buy pies for 1,000 people. You're going to invite all these people, and then you'll have a very small group of people that actually says, yes, I'll take you up on it. So don't be afraid of doing an event, and don't worry about how many people show up. Okay. Because if you only have 3 or 4 people, then it makes a more intimate event. Okay. But the point is that you have the touch of the event. And by the way, one of the things that you have to do is a quarterly phone call. That touch of the event is the reason you're now making the phone call. Okay. It's always easier to have an event to make a phone call around than to just simply call them. Now we're going to talk about what you can do when you just call them. And that's where I need to have my volunteer. Angie, has anybody volunteered yet to be my
no, but I pre-selected one.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get to them in a minute.
Okay.
All right. So the 19 leads or the 19 to connect this is the plan you need to have put in place so that when you get that lead, whether it be from the open house or it be from, the volleyball mom, you're going to take the information they gave you and you're going to put them into this program. Okay. And you can set up a smart plan to do this. Talk to your technology person in your office that they can help you set it up in command. But you should have a calendar, and on the calendar, you should be putting all the different things you're going to do on a monthly basis to communicate with your database. Okay. And by the way I do it is I take the letter of the alphabet and I take all the people that are in my database and I take the first letter of their first name and I count how many I have. So how many A's, how many B's, how many C's, how many D's, right? And I write out the numbers and then I try to balance them out. And since there's 26 letters in the alphabet, if I put 2 of the letters together, that's 13 total groups. And there's 13 weeks in a quarter. And so what happens is if I every week I have 2 letters of the alphabet that I call, then by the end of the quarter, I've called everybody in my database and I can start over again. Okay. So that's kind of a fast and easy way to kind of organize your database, is literally go in and print it, put it in an Excel spreadsheet, just count how many A's, there's 8 A's, there's 10 B's, there's 3 C's, whatever it is, and then just start clumping them together. Okay. Then put together a plan, a smart plan that sends them a message, that sends them a newsletter, that, guess what? And put it in your calendar. This week, I'm calling everybody that starts with T and Z. Okay. And then you just go into your phone and you just start calling all the people, right? Or maybe you print it out in an Excel spreadsheet and you start checking them off as you go through. Okay. But the most important thing, once you generate those leads, is communicating with them. Because if you don't communicate with them, they're not going to trust you and think you're an expert. The more you communicate with them, the more they're going to see you as an expert, and the more information you give them about their situation, about their home, about their neighborhood, they're going to perceive you as somebody that they can trust. Okay. All right, let's go through these. So, considerations for lead follow-up programming. What are my strengths when working with people? How can I adapt the touches of 19 to connect to represent me? So what I want you to think about is, when you're putting this plan together for yourself, how are you going to make it about you and in your style? There's lots of scripts out there. There's lots of things that people can say. But unless it's genuine and coming from you, it's not going to resonate for you. Okay. What are some reasons I might have for contacting the lead? So I gave you an example. I'm having an event. I'm having a great pie giveaway. And what are some touches to do before and after the phone call? So let's just talk about that for a second. So let's say I do my great pie giveaway. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to call Kelly, right? Kelly, I'm calling you and I'm saying, hi, Kelly. So I'm going to be like, hey, Kelly, it's Alex Sanger. I just want to let you know that this November, we're having our Great Pie giveaway again. And what's really awesome about it is you can pick whether you want a pumpkin or an apple pie. And depending on which one you pick, we'll go ahead and place an order for you. And then you just come the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and you come to my office and you pick it up and you get to just enjoy it with your family. And this is just a way for me to say thank you, Kelly, for being one of my trusted folks that I know that when you come across somebody that's thinking about moving, that you're going to refer me. And so I just wanted to say thank you for your support of my business. Would you like me to go ahead and put you down for an apple or a pumpkin? And then usually they're like, well, let me talk to my husband. Let me talk to my wife about it. Right? No problem. I'll be sending, or even if you don't ask them if they want to put it, you could say, just keep an eye out. You'll be getting the link through email or through text, or, postcard in the mail. And there will be a link there so that you can go ahead and place your order. And I just use Eventbrite to place orders. I make it a free event, so it doesn't cost me anything to put it up on Eventbrite. And then, thanks so much for the call. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Click. Right. So they're now, oh, that was so nice. Kelly's like, oh, that was so nice. Alex called me. Right. And so she's happy that I called her. And by the way, if somebody's having a party and you don't get invited, do you feel a little bit kind of pissed off? Even if you couldn't go. Right. But if somebody's having a party and you can't go, and they call you and they invite you and you can't go, are you pissed off? No, right? You're like, oh, they thought of me. That was so nice. The same thing happens with your events. Hey, I'm inviting Kelly to this event, but Kelly says she can't come. And I'm like, oh, that's too bad. Maybe I can catch you at the next event. Okay. But I'd rather include them and invite them, because most of the people are going to say, no, I can't come. Here's the thing. The phone call is not about them coming to the event. The phone call is about them having the feeling that I'm including them. that I'm getting the opportunity to say, oh, by the way, Kelly, before we get off the phone real quick, let me just ask you this one question. Who do you know that I should be talking to that might be thinking about moving in the next 3 to 6 months? And then Kelly's going to go, well, I can't think of anybody right now, but Alex, if I do, I'd be happy to refer them to you. Fantastic. Okay. All right. Let's go back to sharing the screen of the presentation. There we go. All right. So that's some reasons to contact the lead, right? What are some touches to do before and after the phone call, right? So by the way, every time I make a phone call, what's the one thing I do? What's the one thing I do after I get off the phone with them? What's the one thing that I do? Go ahead and put your answer in the chat. Go ahead and put an answer in the chat. What is the thing that I'm going to do?
Okay, so we've got some good answers here. Number one is make notes. Yes. Log into command, send a thank you, send a note. Absolutely. Yep. Everyone's got it. Notes in CRM, notes in command.
Perfect. Perfect. Notes in CRM. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a note card, right? And I'm going to write something in the note card. Hey, Kelly, it was so great talking to you. I'm so glad you got that new puppy, and I'm so excited that you're considering the Great Pie giveaway. I hope to see you at the event, right? And then what I'm going to do, by the way, I don't use business cards except for this reason. I'll take my business card. By the way, the reason I have the business card is it's the only time you'll ever see me in a tie. I take that business card, I print out a little sticker, and the sticker says, oh, by the way, I'm never too busy for your referrals. And you can print them on any kind of sticker you want. I just have some that were professionally made. And I'm going to take that sticker and I'm going to put it in the inside with my business card on the inside of the note card. And my note will be down here, right? And then I'll put that in the mail. Okay. And when I do my note cards, I always hand address the note card, the envelope, but I never put a return address. And I always use like a fun stamp, right? So here's like a Buzz Lightyear stamp. And don't use a flag. Nobody use a flag. Nobody use a flag. Use a Buzz Lightyear. Use something fun, okay? Because guess what? If you get a note in the mail that's that size, that's handwritten to you with a fun sticker on, stamp on there, and the rest of the stuff that comes in the mail is all bills and ads, what's the first thing they're going to open? They're going to open that note card you sent them. Okay. That's super, super important. It's a tiny little thing, but boy, is it effective. By the way, I have gotten listings because after I hung up the phone with the prospective seller who was interviewing 5 agents, and I knew that I had 3 days before I was going to meet them, I took out a note card, wrote them a handwritten note, just thanking them for the time and looking forward to meeting with them and reminding them of what our meeting was, put my business card in there, and I sent it to them. And they said, Alex, everybody basically said the same thing, but you're the only one that sent me a note card.
Alex, a couple people are asking, what does the sticker say again?
The sticker says, oh, by the way, I'm never too busy for your referrals. Okay. And I have that later in a slide so you can write it down again. Okay. All right. So, let me go back to share screen. Go there. Go there. Okay. And okay. So that is what are some touches to do before and after the phone call. So I just gave you a touch that you can do after the phone call. Isn't that great? Or if you're going to set a meeting with them, you might send them a text. Hey, it was great talking to you. Just want to make sure that you have the date. We're going to meet Wednesday, the 7th at 10 a.m. for brunch, whatever it is. Okay. How am I using my conversation to let the person know I am in real estate, how to contact me, and how to refer business to me? Okay. So these are all very important questions. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit more detail in just a second. When is it best for me and my business to time block for lead follow-up? Okay. Everybody has a different time of the day that's best for them. Okay. If you follow the Keller Williams model and you're a full-time agent, they want you to pump out your lead generation first thing in the morning. Start at 8 or 8:30 or 9 and go for 3 hours straight. 9 to 12. Boom, boom, boom. You're just following up. Okay. But guess what? That doesn't work for everybody, because maybe you work till 6 o'clock on another job. And from 6 to 8:30 or 9, guess what? That's your lead generation time. So that's the time where, you know what, you're in the car and you're going to have to make a couple of phone calls from the car. And that's okay. That's okay to call people from the car. People have conversations all the time from the car. Don't they, Cameron? Yeah. She's not listening anymore. Oh, yeah. What? Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm the managing broker had to swing in. Sorry, I'm having an issue with an agent.
No, that's okay. I was just talking to Cameron because she's in the car. I was explaining
Okay.
that you can be in the car and have a phone call with somebody.
Yes.
And so, you know, it doesn't really matter where you are these days. You know, if you're at a soccer game or a volleyball game, or you're, you know, getting ready to go through the drive-through to pick up your dinner at McDonald's because the kids just want nuggets and they're not going to eat what you prepared for them. It's fine. You can do that. You can still make that phone call. People understand these days that, you know, you make phone calls from where you are. So don't be afraid. Don't let that be your obstacle from making the phone calls and following up with those leads. All right. What's best for you? It's more important to get it done than to make it perfect. Perfect is the enemy of good. So make sure you are making those phone calls. If you're not making those phone calls, you aren't connecting with people. They are not going to do business with you. Guaranteed. All right. How much time should it take to reach out to a lead? What will I do to hold myself accountable? And what do I need to do to make sure that it happens? So you need to ask yourself that question. What are you going to do to make sure that you get it done? Okay. And by the way, there's this concept of Go for No. I'm not sure if any of you have read that book, but the concept is this. You take the word no and you put it on a spreadsheet and you put it 100 times on a piece of paper and you print out that piece of paper. And every time you have a conversation with somebody and they say, and you ask, who do you know that might be thinking about buying or selling a house in the next 3 to 6 months? And they give you an answer of, I don't know anybody. Okay. When that happens, you just cross off the word no. And then you have success because you got a no. And your objective is to try to get 100 no's by the end of the week. And you know what happens when you try to get 100 no's by the end of the week? Go ahead and tell me in the chat. What happens if you try to get 100 no's by the end of the week?
You get a yes.
You're going to stumble across a yes.
Yeah.
And you're going to go,
everyone's getting it.
Oh, wait, I got a yes. So here's the thing. I'm turning the no into a positive because it's a game that you're playing with yourself. I'm going to get 100 no's by the end of this week. So now all of a sudden that rejection is helping you get to your goal. Because if you make 3 or 4 phone calls and it's no, I don't know what no, I don't know what no, I don't know what no, it gets really defeating. But if you go, I need 100 no's by the end of this week, and then eventually you get a yes, just imagine the endorphins that are going to fly through your body when you get that yes. And you're going to be like, holy crap, it worked. Oh my God, what Alex told me is true. It really works. And then Anne's going to send me a message, and you're going to send me a message, and you're going to be like, Alex, it worked. I'm going to be like, you rock it, Anne. Okay? By the way, I'm only talking to people with their cameras on, just so you know. Everybody that doesn't have their camera on, you're not really my friend. Okay, Jasmine's my friend. Okay, Diamond's my friend. Okay.
Everyone's going to be hanging up.
Well, hey, that's fine. If they don't want to be here, they don't have to be here.
I know, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm giving good stuff, man. This is good stuff.
I've known the teacher for a very long time, and we have sort of a sibling relationship. So I love to make fun of him.
That's okay. It's all good. All right, let's go back. All right. So again, if we look at the plan, you know, how much does a phone call cost these days with an unlimited plan in your phone?
$300 a month.
Okay, look at it that way. The fact is, you're going to have the phone whether you're doing real estate or not. So making that phone call really doesn't cost you, right? How much does an email cost? If you're doing them one at a time, it doesn't really cost anything. But if you're doing the email on like using MailChimp like I do, I spend about $400 a month for my email system. But keep in mind that I'm emailing like, just so you know, I have a database of over 36,000 agents in my MailChimp. By the way, I'd like to invite all of you to become part of that group. And there will be a way to do that later on in this presentation. I'm going to give you the opportunity to join my Facebook group, which has 12,000 members across the country, so that you can share referrals with one another. Okay, that's going to be later on, so stick around. So email could cost you money or it could be free. There's another system called BombBomb, which is a great way to connect with people on a one-to-one email basis that also can incorporate video. That's called BombBomb. Fantastic tool. Another thing that you can do is, again, texting. So you could maybe do something separate with email. I'm sorry, with email also, but with texting. So one of the things that I've done in Facebook is all the people that I'm friends with on Facebook, what I'll do is I'll record a generic video and I've done this a couple different times. You go out to your daughter's going to have a birthday and you get some balloons for your daughter's birthday, and you kind of cheat and you use those balloons and you hold them behind you. And you just go, happy, happy, happy birthday, happy, happy birthday, happy, happy birthday, happy, happy birthday. Just want to wish you happy birthday. And you save that video, okay? Don't say the person's name, but you just text it to them, okay? You do that, or maybe you go into Facebook and you Facebook Messenger it to them. By the way, if you go in Facebook and you Facebook Messenger that to them every year on their birthday, guess what? You now become more prominent in their feed because they're clicking on that message from you. So it's a way for you to actually extend your exposure to the people that are friends with you in Facebook. I use friends because we have lots of friends that we're like, I don't even know that person, right? But it's a way for you to get top of mind for that. And it's an easy thing to do. It didn't cost you anything, right? And then again, a promotional direct mail item. That might cost you money. Again, if you're doing like a calendar magnet. Do something like that, a calendar magnet. I don't know if you guys are reading it, but anyway, different things. I also have like bottle openers that I did. I got them at the family reunion. On the one side, it's a bottle opener. On the other side, it's a box opener for all those,
Amazon.
Thank you, Amazon packages you get. And then, of course, your event, right? The event is probably going to be one of the things that you think is going to cost you the most, but actually the promotional item is probably going to cost you the most.
Yes. Yes.
The events don't cost as much as you think. And by the way, on the events, you can do them with your office. You don't have to do them alone. In fact, if you do them with your office, it's better because you distribute the responsibility of managing the thing, and you distribute like the decorations, and you distribute, everybody pitches in $20 for refreshments or whatever. You get, 5 to 10 or 20 people in your office to do it. And then when people come, even if you only have 2 or 3 people that show up, they're going to see all these other people and be like, wow, you guys are really busy. Yeah, we are. That's me. Right, Erica? That was me. I'm the one. Right, Ann? Natasha? Kelly? Jasmine loves this idea. Okay, so that's a way to kind of get into the event thing and not have to spend a lot of money. So there are expensive things in here. There's not expensive things, but here's the thing: you need to have this plan. All right. We're gonna skip that one. All right, Angie, stop yawning. Okay.
Sorry. I'm sorry. It's not you. It's not you.
Potential lead sources. Again, where are my leads coming in? Maybe somebody called into the office. Or just called me from Google or whatever. Maybe I had a community event. By the way, in case you want a great tool to generate some leads, what I love doing is I love sponsoring the neighborhood yard sale. So the fall or the spring, people are always like, I want to do a yard sale, but I don't want to have to do the whole thing, blah, 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 right? So we had 2 different ways to do it. We did one as a fundraiser for the elementary school, and we sold parking spaces for $20. And the money that we got for the $20 we gave to the school, it's a donation to the school. And then I organized to get everybody, let everybody know in the community we're doing this. If they'd like to get a parking spot, it's only $20. And then they just bring their stuff the night before or that morning, and they get their parking spaces, and they can put out all their, the kids' stuff that kids don't want anymore, their furniture, whatever they want. They can put whatever they want out there. And then you advertise it on Nextdoor and Facebook and on your website and your social media, and then give it to all the other people that are participating. They put it out, right? And you make a flyer that says sponsored by, and then you put your name on there and make sure that like you're telling everybody that you're the one that's sponsoring. And then you get some signs made up, neighborhood yard sale sponsored by, right? And you're planting it all over the place. You get everybody to come. Now all of a sudden, everybody that signed up for that to participate in that is somebody that you're getting in your database. You're building trust with them, and they're now going to see you as an expert. And something that doesn't cost very much money. So you can have a community event. You could even, talk to somebody about bringing a food truck. There will be food trucks there, whatever. Make it a big thing. Open houses, social media marketing, traditional marketing, your agent website, right? So you might get leads from some of these different sources. Social media marketing, there's people that are crushing it with social media marketing because it doesn't cost anything. It just costs time, all right? Calls out, meaning outbound calls. Why are you thinking about buying or selling? What are your questions to them? And then you can buy leads, you can get client referrals. This, by the way, client referrals, my business is 100% referral, just so you know. Okay. All of my business comes to me by way of referral because I'm implementing this stuff. All right. Blog or newsletter. So, when you're making a call, you're just, why are you thinking about buying or selling? Tell me more. And what would that do for you? What would that do for your family if you got a chance to do that move? Get deep with them with these questions. All right. Quick warning. This is the only time I'm going to mention it. Make sure that you are paying attention to the do not call list. Only call people that are not on the do not call list. And so make sure you check with your broker about their specific policy on this and how to address this. Okay. But it is just a disclaimer that I do need to put in here when you are calling people. Now, if you hand somebody their phone and they put their phone number in your phone, they've explicitly given you permission to call them. Okay. If you buy a list somewhere, you need to cleanse that list and run it through the do not call list registry. And Vulcan, what's the other one that people use all the time, Angie? They use Vulcan and.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. There's a couple different systems you can use that you can actually screen that stuff. So if you're buying lists, it'll screen it for you and make calls for you. Robocalls.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Redx or something. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Ahas. So share with me a few ahas real quick. So go in the chat.
Okay.
And type a few ahas for me.
Okay. I was just sending out a message. There was a question about what leads you buy, and I just stated to everyone that Alex, as myself, and so do I, work only by referral. Okay, so the aha moments are by Pies, the birthday song video. Pies, I love handwritten cards with the stickers, funny stickers. And that's what we've gotten so far. Oh, yeah, love the handwritten cards. How to talk to renters, no flag stamps. That's right. Always do a fun stamp. I actually, it's kind of fun going in and buying the fun stamps too, choosing them.
It is a lot of fun when you go to the post office and you're like, so what's new?
What's new?
But you don't have to buy a bunch of them. You can just buy one stack of them or whatever. I mean,
I always buy a roll, $50.
No, don't buy the roll. That's not where the fun stamps are. I get the sheets.
You can get them. Oh, the sheets. Yeah, the sheets.
I get the sheets. Yeah. Anyway, and then I put the extra stuff that's like not the sticker, but like the fun thing that's on. I stick it on my trash can, so my trash can's like littered with all the fun stuff.
That would drive me nuts.
Oh, it's fun.
The event idea. Yep. The event, the pie thing is so fun, and having an annual client appreciation party is so fun. And just to reiterate what Alex said, don't worry about the number of people who show up. It could, actually sometimes the more intimate the crowd, the easier it is to connect. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about crowd size. Oh my God, that just made me laugh. Brenda had a question. Brenda, you had a question, I think, about, sorry, a lot of things are coming through. I thought I answered it. Sorry if I didn't. Oh, Brenda has a question. Um,
What's your question, Brenda? Go
yeah,
ahead
what's
and
your question?
unmute
Yeah,
yourself.
unmute yourself. Yeah, because I can't find it.
I put it in chat, but I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Do you, like, I had a question on the sticker and the business card.
Yeah.
Do you put it in like you've just done a transaction, a closing with a buyer, seller, whatever? Do you put it in there too? Like, hey, I'll take my referral.
So, I mean, anytime I send a note card, anytime I send a handwritten note, I'm putting it in there. It doesn't matter what it's for. It could be a happy birthday. It could be a congratulations on your settlement. It could be a congratulations on going under contract. It could be congratulations on having a baby. Whatever, like, I don't get pre-made note cards. I only get blank note cards and I hand write them.
Mhm.
Now here's a trick. If you like are sending out like 50 of them, handwrite one of them and then stick the handwritten thing on the copier and then shove the other ones through. Just make sure you fold them out and then you can copy it and then it's handwritten on all of them. And then just make sure you use a black pen and you can say, hey, Brenda, and then you can sign your name at the bottom. Okay. So like you don't have to write all 50 of them out. So that is a way to do. I have done that in the past as well.
But you use the sticker to affix your business card to the inside of the card.
Yeah, I use the sticker for the business card. I don't know if you can see my window, but I have it right there. You can use just like a regular address sticker and then just go into Word and pull up a template and just write the words out and use whatever font you want. I just, like I said, I just have some fancy ones that I got made up because I've been in the business 20 years and you can do that when you've been doing it 20 years. Okay. All right, let's keep going because we're slowing. We're going too slow, quite frankly, to get through all of this stuff. All right. All right. So then once we've created the connections, we now need to cement the relationship. A high value touch that solidifies the relationship you have just established and opens the door for future interactions. A high value touch. Give me an example of a high value touch in the chat. Go ahead. What's a high value touch? So you met somebody, and what's something that you can do to convert them, to cement that relationship? All right. Do we have any answers?
Meeting face to face, appointment, coffee, face to face, send a CMA.
Yeah.
How can I help you?
Yeah. So face to face is the answer, right? It's not phone to phone. It's not any. It's face to face. Hey, are you free to get coffee? Coffee is a great thing because coffee can last 10 minutes, it can last half an hour, it can last 2 hours. It just depends on, what's happening. But most people think when you get together for coffee, the time you're spending together is the amount of time it takes to drink the cup of coffee, right? So you know that it's not going to be a long time. I'm not a coffee drinker. Some of you aren't coffee drinkers. Guess what? You still invite them to coffee, you still buy them a coffee, and you get yourself a seltzer or whatever, right? Not a hard seltzer. Although you could do that if you wanted to. You can meet them for happy hour if you wanted to. Like if they were a cool person, you're like, hey, we gotta hang out. Like, let's go to happy hour. Let's get a glass of wine, right? So you want to cement that relationship. Once you've cemented that relationship, you are now in the process of actually being relationship management. When the two-way communication is established, the lead becomes a contact in your database. You move the person from a 19 to connect to a 36 to convert, and you cement that relationship, okay? So you're taking that person and now you're putting them in your system, and now you have a more robust system for actually communicating with them on a regular basis. By the way, during COVID, I had to revamp my entire system. Why? Because I had like 127 touch, like just interacting with the people too much. And I had to scale it back. I'm like, I am sending them way too much stuff, whether it be emails, texts, note cards, whatever. It was too much. And I scaled things back, I redefined things, and I spread it out and communicated with more people, and my business just grew from there. And just to let you know, when I say my business grew, after I implemented that system, that's when I did my record year of 20 million by myself. Okay. So it is possible to do that kind of volume by yourself. Okay. If you're really dedicated to building a system that's going to work. Right. So let's go back to this. Oops. All right. All right. Ahas. We just went through ahas. By the way, command is definitely something that you should be using. It's free. You're already, well, it's not free. You're already paying for it. Therefore, it's free. And then there's also KW Connect. There's plenty of videos on there that you can go to teach yourself how to do things. So if you learned about some technology thing that you want to learn more about, you can actually go in there. All right. By the way, we're going to take a quick break here so that you can all pull out your phone. So everybody pull out your phone. Pull out your phone and scan that QR code. Angie, go ahead and put that thing that I gave you in the chat.
I'm on it.
So you're going to go to kwueval.com and you're going to go ahead and if you feel like it, you're going to give me a 5-star review, and everybody feels like it. I know it, especially you, Erica. I see you. And Omotoyo, I know you're going to do it, buddy. All right. So go in there, go to KW Eval. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to click on the fact that you're taking a virtual online event. Okay. And you're going to put in your region. You're going to make sure that you put in your region wherever you're watching this from. Okay. And then you're going to move forward. When you get to the next screen, you're going to have to select instructor not in dropdown. And you're going to have to go all the way to the bottom of that list to find instructor not in the dropdown. Once you do that, you're going to type my name, Alex Sanger, ALEX space SAENGER. And you're, by the way, you're selecting the Ignite Session 10, keep every lead, just in case. And Angie just posted in the chat the specific instructions on how to do that. So if you're on a computer, you can click on that and do that now real quick. Go ahead and complete that now.
I'm going to go get another glass of wine. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you are. All right, so go ahead and get that done. And once you're done, go ahead and click on your little thumbs up so that I can see you guys have finished that. All right. All right. While you guys are finishing that up, I'm going to go ahead and get us started on the next session. All right. Let's do that. All right. So now we're talking about follow-up with leads. So that was getting the lead and making sure we captured that lead. And now we're going to follow up with the lead. So keep every lead that you got. We talked about how to connect with them and how to cement that relationship. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit more specifically about that now. All right. The effort you give to converting leads must match the effort you give to generating them. Okay, so keep in mind that once you generate that lead, like you spent all that time setting up signs, putting a flyer together, knocking on doors for that open house. You had the open house for 2 or 3 or 4 hours. You talked to all these people. You then went and followed up, and you wound up sending them note cards or sending them emails and texts. You called everybody. You wound up taking your signs back down. Like, that's a lot of effort to put in. And after that, you've got one or two or three maybe really good leads from that open house. You need to put that same level of effort into every single one of those prospective relationships. Okay. If you're not putting that level of effort into it, you're not going to convert those leads. Okay. It's really important that you're doing that. If you're not doing it, you're missing out, because that's why you did the whole open house. Like, that's why you were there. Follow up with the people. All right. All right. So we're going to talk about consistently getting every possible appointment from the leads you generate. Isn't complicated, but it does require preparation, practice, and purposeful action. Okay. So how are we going to convert that lead into an appointment? Okay. So again, they talk about collect the minimum amount of valid information, contact information of a potential buyer or seller. Again, how did I collect my information from that person? You guys remember? Go ahead and put it in the chat. What's the best way that I found to collect somebody's information?
Okay, so people are saying Google form, hand them your phone, give them your phone.
Yeah, hand them your phone is the right answer.
Yeah, hand them your phone. And Alex, just real quick, there's something blocking the visual.
On the top?
Yeah, on the side, on the right-hand side.
There you go. How's that?
No, yes, you got it. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, now there's yeah, good. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I know what it is. Okay. So using your phone is one of the best ways for you to get that information, get all that information. Okay. And the next, you're going to connect with them. So the conversion framework, if I were to need to contact you, what number should I contact you on? Right. So if I need to get in touch with you, what's the best number to reach you on? If I found exactly what you're looking for, how would I connect with you? Right. So maybe if you were talking to somebody about, oh, we're thinking about buying a house. Okay, great. Well, if I found exactly what you were looking for, what would be a great way to get in touch with you? Right. They say, I contact you. But if I found out the information you were wanting, how would I get it to you? Right. So this is a way for you to say, by the way, what's the best way to reach you? If you ask that question, what's the answer? So go ahead and put it in the chat. What's the answer of what's the best way to reach you? What's the best way to reach you when you talk to somebody, a prospective client?
Everyone's saying phone, text, call me on my phone, email.
Okay, so the answers are all over the place, and that is correct, because the answer is you don't know. Okay, because guess what? Angie is not somebody who likes emails. Alex is not somebody who likes phone calls, but we both like text.
Oh, text is awesome.
Right? But here's the thing. Maybe you don't like text. Maybe you only prefer email. Right? Amatoyo? Right? You like email. He likes email. And Cameron, she's driving all the time. She can't text. She needs a phone call. She wants to talk to you on the phone. Right? Because I can talk to you on the phone while I'm driving, but I can't text with you when I'm driving. And Jasmine, she's on everything. Jasmine doesn't care. She'll take a phone call. She'll take an email. She'll take a text. She's fine. She doesn't care. Kelly only cares about email, but that's okay, because that's the way Kelly is. Right? All right. So the point is you don't know. That's why you ask, what's the best way for me to get in touch with you? Okay. And then they're going to tell you, oh, send it to my email. Oh, you know what? Just shoot me a text. Oh, you know what? Connect with me on Facebook. I only look at my DMs on Facebook. I'm only over on TikTok. Right? Whatever it is, like, just respect the fact that that's the way they communicate best, which is, by the way, one of the reasons your framework of your conversations with them needs to include all of those. You can't just go, oh, I'm just going to communicate with everybody by email. Guess what? You're missing just about everybody under 30 you're missing because they're not looking at it, right? But if you text them, well, guess what? They may respond, but you know why they might not? Because they get flooded with text and your text is going to get buried, right? And if you're going to make a phone call, by the way, you know what the best way to make a phone call is? Diamond, if I called you right now, would you answer the phone if you didn't know my number? She looked up, she's like, no. But here's the thing. If that same number called you a second time right away, would you think that that's an important phone call? Okay, Kelly doesn't think so, but Diamond does. Kelly, you fished me out. But here's the point. Okay, most people will. Okay, most people that get a phone call, okay, from a number they don't know, they're going to go, yeah, no, I'm not going to answer that. And then they put their phone down. And then the phone rings again and they go, what the heck? This must be important. They're calling me again.
Or an emergency.
Robo-dials don't call you twice. Okay. So when I call somebody and I'm trying to connect with them, somebody I met in an open house or whatever, I'm going to call them. I'm going to let it ring. It's going to go to voicemail. I'm going to hang up. I'm immediately going to call them back. Maybe I'll wait a few seconds or whatever. I'll call them back. And then if they don't answer that time, then I'll leave a message. And then after I leave the voice message, I'll then follow up with a text message. Okay. So that's actually the process that I take. And I will tell you the answer rate skyrockets when you do this. If you call somebody and they don't answer, call them a second time. You will get twice as many people that actually answer the phone when you do this. I guarantee it. Kelly, try it. Okay. Jenna knows what I'm talking about, don't you, Jenna? You answer those phone calls. She does. She's like, yeah, I do. Okay. All right. I'm only talking to people with their screens on. Okay. Okay. So, oh, okay. So, by the way I classify my database is a system that I've developed. I think Angie uses the same system. Okay. So here's the system that I use. If somebody is in my database and they have done more than one piece of business with me, or they have referred me to more than one prospective client, one referral, I will give them a status of an A+. Okay. Those are my most important people in my database. By the way, if you don't have this, you should be writing it down. Pull out a piece of paper and write it down. A+, multiple transactions or referrals. An A has completed one transaction or referral. Okay. An A is somebody that only did one. A B is someone who has confirmed that they will send me a referral because I asked them, would you send me a referral if you knew somebody that was thinking about buying, selling? Yes, I would refer you. Okay. So they've acknowledged that they will refer you, but they haven't done it yet. A C is somebody that you think, if I asked them, they'd probably send me a referral, but you haven't asked them yet. Okay. That's a C. An O is an online lead, and a D is somebody that to be deleted from your database. Or in my case, I don't necessarily delete them. What I do is I put them on a smart plan that touches them maybe once a month, and I kind of forget about it. Like set it and forget it. When they unsubscribe, they're done. They're gone. I don't send them mail to their house. I don't spend money on them. I only use systems that cost no money. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to do when I talk to these people is I'm trying to convert them from a C to a B. And then I'm trying to convert them from a B to an A and from an A to an A+. Or I'm trying to convert them from a C to a D. Okay. I don't care which one it is. I just want to be able to say, you know what? When I call, well, who's got their camera on that I haven't talked to yet? When I call Alexis, she answers the phone. And when I call Alexis and I asked her the question, if you or somebody you knew was thinking about buying or selling, do you have a referral? Do you have an agent you refer them to? And she goes, no. And you say, can I be that person? She says, yes. Now I've just qualified, or I moved her from a C to a B. Okay. So I want to be able to qualify that person and ask them do you have somebody that you would refer people to if they were thinking about buying or selling? They say no, then you promote them. If they say, yeah, my sister's an agent, well, then you probably don't have much of a shot of getting a referral from that person, right? But most of the time they're going to say no. Then you say, well, can I be that person? And guess what? I have this amazing tool. It's called a neighborhood snapshot. And it allows me to send you information about the value of your home once a month. And you don't even have to react to it. You don't have to do anything, but it allows me to give you the, blah, 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 right? You make up your own script on that, right? But tell them, okay? So then you're going to classify these people. And by the way, if it's the end of the week and you haven't made any phone calls and you're on your A's and Z's and you're looking at the rating system that you have on this, who's the first person you're going to call? Look at the classifications. Who's the first person you're going to call? Go ahead and put it in my chat.
Alex, just so you know, the right side's blocking you again.
It's okay.
Okay.
Who am I going to call?
A pluses, A plus.
Yeah, so
A.
That's exactly right. I'm going to call my A pluses, okay? If I'm very limited time, I'm going to focus on the people that have sent me multiple referrals or have sent me a referral or done a piece of business. And if I'm out of time, I'm not going to bother calling the C's. I'm going to call my A pluses, then my A's, then my B's, okay? And by the way, I should have a plan to go through all of my C's. By the way, the C's are people that maybe you met at an open house and they said, yeah, I'd consider maybe using you, but you haven't really connected and cemented them. So once you've connected and cemented them, then they become a B, A, or A plus. That's what we're talking about right now, is after you've cemented them, A plus, A's, and B's, okay? So, all right. The 6 connection questions are who, what, where, why, when, and how. Who are they? What do they want or need? Where do they want or need to go or do it? Why are they doing it? When are they going to do it? How do they plan to do it? So you're going to ask these questions. Oh, well, what's going to take you there? Or, where are you going to go? Why did you decide to move there? When are you thinking about moving? How, do you have a plan to put it all together? Maybe I don't. So you're going to ask these questions, really dig deep. Okay. You can't know or predict when they're going to make a decision. But if you're reconnecting with them on a systematic basis, you'll have the greatest chance of it being there when they do. That's when you'll be able to close for an appointment. And that's the purpose of this, by the way. The whole purpose of doing all of this is so that you can connect with people and you can actually set an appointment. So when they say, you know what, I'm thinking about moving to Alaska, you can say, great, when is that going to happen? It's going to happen next summer. Okay, great. I'm going to put a reminder in there. And by the way, whatever they tell you it's going to be, if they're thinking about moving, cut it in half. Oh, we're thinking about moving in 3 months. Great. I'm going to call you in a month and a half. I'm going to call you after a month. Oh, we're thinking about moving in 6 months. Great. I'm going to call you in 3 months.
Yep.
We're moving next year. Call them in 6 months.
That's exactly right.
Okay. So make sure that you're like, whatever they're telling you, you give yourself space to actually make that phone call, because guess how many people do they have room for in their head?
2.
No, Michael, it's 2. Okay. Michael said 1, me. No, it's 2. It's 2. They have space for 2. Maybe you're the only one that's in there because you're not giving any room to the other guy. All right. So you only have 2. All right. Who's my role play person?
Oh, it is Nalini Abraham.
Is Nalini still here?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. So keep your mic unmuted. We're going to go back to the presentation for just a second. And see if I'm at that right point. All right. So who can tell me what this is?
Ford.
What does Ford mean?
A car.
No, that's the wrong Ford. This is the Ford I'm looking for.
Oh.
Okay. Ford is a prospecting system, if you will. Okay. So okay. So where'd you go? Nalini? Is it Nalini?
Yep. Yes.
Nalini.
Put your camera on.
Okay.
Ooh, Nalini's in trouble.
She's not in trouble. She's not in trouble. So Nalini, you and I are going to have a conversation. So this is a prospecting call. I'm going to move you back up to the top here next to Angie. Okay. Let's move you around here. Okay. So Nalini, here we go. You ready? And by the way, we know each other, right? We met before. And so we're just going to have a phone call. By the way, you guys, I'm doing this off the cuff. Neither one of us have met each other, but you're going to see how effective Ford is. Okay. So bring.
Hello.
Hi, Nalini. It's Alex Sanger from Keller Williams Capital Properties. How are you?
Good, thank you.
You know, we haven't talked in so long. I just wanted to catch up with you and just say hi. How's your family doing?
My family's doing well. How are you doing, Alex?
Well, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Now, how many kids do you have? Remind me.
7.
You have 7 kids? I knew you had a couple because we saw each other at the soccer field, but 7 kids. You're a strong woman, aren't you?
I am.
Woo! Wow. What are all your kids up to? What's some highlights from what your kids are doing these days?
I send them to boarding school.
You send them off to board. You have to be real with me, Nalini. Now you can't be messing around. Like, tell me for real. Like, what have your kids done?
I don't really have any kids.
You don't have kids? I said find me somebody with kids. All right.
Oh, sorry. That's my fault.
That's right.
It's my fault because I kept saying me, but I don't have no kids.
That's why I chose her. She was like me.
Okay, you know what? That's fine. All right, so let's reset. Bring.
Hi.
Hi, Nalini. It's Alex Sanger with Keller Williams Capital Properties. How are you doing?
Good. How are you, Alex?
I'm doing great. Now, wait. Sidebar. Are you married?
Yes, I am married.
Fantastic. Okay. Hey, I just haven't talked to you in a while. Wanted to catch up. How are things going with you and your husband?
It's going well.
Yeah. Do you guys do anything fun this summer?
We went to San Diego Comic-Con.
You did not. Who did you see there?
And they're gonna remake the whole Luke Skywalker is gonna come back, but they're choosing an actor that, they had this actor that used to be a Disney star, child actor that's gonna do that.
Are you excited about that? That sounds exciting. You know I'm a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I know. My husband too, but no, I'm not excited about it because they've gone and revamped the whole Star Wars thing and made it all weird.
Well, you don't know that yet, do you?
Yeah, no, that's what they showed in the panels, but I hope it's better.
Did you go to any of the other cons, or is that what took you out
forward
there?
To the New York Comic-Con.
Okay, what took you out to that one specifically?
To the New York one or the San Diego one? I go every year to San Diego.
But you go every year to San. Do you have family out there?
No.
Oh, you just like. Okay, all right. And you said you're going to go to the New York one too?
Yeah, because my husband's deep into it.
Okay, well, I trust me, I understand. How are things going with your job?
I am doing really well.
Yeah.
I just joined Keller Williams.
No. You can't talk about real estate for this phone call.
Okay.
So what were you doing before you started real estate? Talk about that.
I was working for telecom.
You're working in telecom. You know, I actually started in telecom before I became a real estate agent, but that was over 20 years ago. What are you doing? What are you doing in the telecom world?
Well, project management. So that's going well.
Yeah.
They have fired lots of people, but not me, so I'm good.
Oh, are you concerned about that?
A little, not really hugely, but little, because they've downsized, they've downsized the whole department and everything.
Yeah, well, I'm glad they didn't downsize you because, that's important to, I don't know, have a job.
Yeah, I don't know how to go to the con.
That's right. So do you guys have any big plans for the next 5 years other than the cons?
I was thinking of referring you to one of my friends because they wanted to buy a house.
That's not what I'm asking, but that's okay. I'm focusing on dreams right now. What do you plan for the future? You guys have any plans to get a second home in San Diego or anything like that? Anything crazy?
Was thinking about it. Actually, funny you said that. Really thinking about it because the hotels are crazy priced each year.
Right. You could get your own place and Airbnb it, right?
Yeah, and it nearly works out to when you want it good, it works out to like $2,000 for 2 days.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy. That's crazy
yeah.
good. Yeah, that'll pay for it. Well, just so you know, by the way, I don't know if you knew this, but I actually have a network of 30,000 agents that I communicate with on a regular basis. So if you do decide you want to get a place out there in San Diego, let me know, because I'd be happy to refer you to a fantastic agent out there.
That would be perfect, because that is something we have been looking at, because we're like, we go every year.
Every
We
year.
do
Yeah.
4 days, so it doesn't hurt. But 4 days we spend 4,000 just on stay. And
Right.
that doesn't include food or anything else.
Right. That's a lot of money when you could be actually making money instead of spending money.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, hey, it was great catching up with you. I do need to go, but before I go, let me just ask you this question. Who do you know that might be thinking about moving, in the next 3 to 6 months that I should be talking to?
I have a few friends here in Jersey that
In
would
Jersey?
love to. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I can give them your details if you'd like.
Well, here's what I'd actually preferred if you could do for me is when you talk to them, next time you talk to them, just let them know that you have a great agent that you'd love to refer them to. Ask their permission if it would be okay if you shared their number with me. And then all I ask you to do is just shoot me a text message with their name and their number, and I'll make you look like a hero. How does that sound?
Sounds fantastic. That actually sounds wonderful. Thank you so much, Alex. I will just do that.
Thank you, Nalini. Thanks for the call, and I'll talk to you soon, and I can't wait to hear about New York Comic Con.
Same here.
All right,
Thank
bye.
you. Bye-bye.
So, do you guys see what happened here? Who wants to comment on the conversation we just had, like with words and not just text messages? Who wants to raise their hand and say, I want to comment about it? Go ahead. Diamond has something to say.
Well, it's pretty obvious, but you hit all the key points in Ford to make the conversation flow and not seem like I'm just trying to get a sale,
Right. And so what happened when I had that conversation? I'm going to talk about their family, right? Oh, well, she doesn't have any kids, right? So she doesn't need it. But let's say you know what? We're having our third kid. Bing, bing, bing. Buying opportunity, right? Recreation. Oh, we go to Comic-Con all the time. Oh, have you thought about a second home out there? Actually, we have. And she genuinely was saying she actually is thinking about this, by the way.
Yeah, no, literally want to buy a house.
I know. This is my point. Like, I've never met her before today, and I generated a lead today from this phone conversation. Okay? So, recreation. What are you guys doing for fun? What'd you do this past summer? Occupation, how's the job going? Well, she just told me the things are downsizing where she's working. So there's a possibility she could potentially lose her job. And if she lives in a really big, expensive house and she loses her job, she might call me and say, Alex, we need to sell our house and buy something smaller. Okay? Like, I'm just looking at it for real. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not hunting. I don't want her to lose her job. But I'm going to certainly say, by the way, if things get really bad, I just want you to know that I'm here as a resource to help you through that process. If you need any information to kind of help you figure out what you're going to do. Because maybe you don't want to sell your house. Maybe you just want to go rent something less expensive and rent your house out for, a year until you get your feet back on the ground, and then you can move back into your house. Right? I'm a problem solver. I'm listening for the problem, and I'm trying to fix the problem. I'm thinking about buying a house in San Diego. Great. I've got a solution. I know tons of agents I can refer you to. Okay? Dreams. What are your dreams? Sometimes people, I would love to have a place in Hawaii, whatever it is. Whatever it is. And by the way, did I get any ammunition to write a note card on that?
I gave you a ton.
I'm going to con it up, man. I'm going to be like, hey, I can't wait to see your photos from your New York con. Make sure that we're connected on Facebook. Here's my handle, whatever. Right? It's a great way. So that's how I'm going to connect. You guys are wondering, how do I follow up with leads? How do I follow up with my database? How do I connect with people? Do you think you can do Ford? Do you think you can do it?
Yes.
I think you can. Family, occupation, recreation dreams. Write it down. If you haven't written it down, write it down. Family, occupation, recreation dreams. Okay? And by the way, write this down too. Oh, by the way, who do you know thinking about moving in the next 3 to 6 months that I should talk to? I know lots of people in Jersey that you should talk to. Fantastic. by the way, after that, when you come across that person, do me a favor, ask their permission if we can be in touch. Then send me a text message with their name and number, and I will follow up with them and make you look like a hero. By the way, did I read that when I talked to her? No, I knew it. I said it so many times, it just flows naturally. And when you first start in this business, it's not going to flow naturally for you. You have to practice it. So the best thing to do is practice it on the people that are the closest to you, because they're going to be the most forgiving. Does that make sense?
Family, occupation, recreation.
Dreams. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. And then, oh, by the way, who do you know thinking about moving in the next 3 to 6 months that I should talk to? And then after we answer that question, when you come across that person, do me a favor, ask their permission if we can be in touch. It's very important that you put that in there, because because they're going to be like, no, I don't want him to call me. I'll call him. By the way, if she gives them my number, what's the likelihood they're actually going to call me? That's right, Ashley. It's not good, is it? Ashley doesn't think it's very good at all. But if I have her send me a text with their number, I've just reversed the conversation, and I've now put myself in the driver's seat, not them. And I can call them, and I can text them, and I can nag them as much as I want. Of course, I don't want to do it too much, because I want to get Nalini's other referrals, right? Not just that one. And oh, by the way, when Nalini sends me the referral, the text message, you know what I'm going to do for Nalini immediately? I'm going to reach into my magic bag over here. And I'm going to pull out an Amazon gift card for $25. And I'm going to grab a note card. And I'm going to write her a note and say, thanks so much for that referral. I'm going to stick that $25 gift card in that note, and I'm going to mail it to her. Did I get the business? Lori,
You absolutely did, because I keep referring you to keep get more cards.
But Nalini, I have not actually gotten the deal yet. I haven't gotten the buyer agency agreement signed. I haven't got the listing agreement signed. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send you a gift card anyway. You know why? Why am I sending her a gift card? Anybody want to tell me?
Build trust.
Yes, I'm building trust, but here's the thing, Diamond. I want to reward the behavior, not the result. So she gets a $25 gift card every time she refers me somebody. Think she's going to do it again? Think she's going to refer me anybody she could possibly think of? Like, she wants $200 of gift cards. Come on, I got something to buy. Great. I'll give you $200 of gift cards, because if you send me 8 referrals, one of them's going to do something. And oh, by the way, the average commission for this area where we are is $10,000. You think a $25 gift card is going to make a dent in that? It's the cheapest thing you can spend money on. Send a $25 gift card. Don't send a $5 Starbucks card. I mean, you can start there if you got no money, but you really want to get to the point where, like, it's impactful, but not like breaking the bank. You get me? You got me, Ashley? Alexa's got me. All right. Erica McCoy is not getting me at all. Let's go back to this. Okay. All right. When asking, just so you guys know, we have about 10 more minutes, so I'm going to burn through this a little bit faster. When asking for the appointment, which format do you think is most effective? In person is the answer. In person. I always want to ask for the appointment in person. Well, in person, you could say, hey, can we meet next Tuesday? And then a phone call would be next. And then a text message would be next, and an email would be last. Okay. Ashley, you got a question?
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to ask, so your line about, oh, by the way, who do you know that I should be talking to? Now, if it was somebody in your database that you're just kind of reconnecting with or that you haven't talked to in a while, would you still do that on the first conversation, or would you maybe let it go for the first conversation and then in a week or two have another conversation with them and then throw that in?
So, Ashley, let me ask you, how long have I known Nalini?
I don't know.
I met her tonight. That's the first conversation she and I have ever had. Not only am I going to ask her the first time, I'm going to ask her just about every time. And if you ask that question every time, you know what happens after you talk to them for a couple of years asking them that question? Go ahead.
They're just gonna tell you. They're gonna know.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, I know, Alex, I know. If I know somebody thinking about buying or selling, then I should refer you to, like, they're gonna repeat it back to you. And now you know you've trained that person very well.
But if it's somebody you haven't talked to, you don't think that they'd feel like, oh, I just had a great conversation with you, and the only reason you called was to try and get business?
Did you feel that way when I had my conversation with Nalini?
Okay, but that's somebody that you just met. I'm talking about somebody you know, like an old coworker that I just had a great Facebook Messenger conversation with, but I probably haven't talked to her in about a year.
Okay, so what?
Okay.
Can I say something? I just talked to my boss, ex-boss, I haven't spoken to her about 2 years. And just before the class started, I sent her Facebook message and she replied and we had a great conversation. And then she asked me what you're doing. And I said, I'm in real estate right now. And then I gave her my information and she's like, she said it in front. I didn't even say anything. And she's like, oh, I'll refer you. If I know people, I'll give your information out to other people. So that was a great thing.
If they genuinely like you, they're not gonna have a problem with it. If they're like, oh, she's only talking to me because she wants a referral, well, guess what? She's probably not your friend anyway, and you can stick her as a C or a D and get her out of your database.
That's also your fear speaking too.
Yes,
that's what you're afraid she's
right.
thinking.
Right.
And we all have to get past that.
Yeah, Ashley, exactly what Angie just said. Everybody here who hasn't done it is afraid of doing it because they haven't done it. And I will tell. Go ahead.
So I will admit I have been licensed for I think 2 months now.
Yeah.
And the other night with Ilana, when she made us go through and message people from our sphere, is the first time, aside from letting everybody know I was in real estate now, that is the first time I've contacted anybody from my sphere.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was afraid to bug them. And I'm like, well, I know they're not selling right now.
But see, I've given you permission to ask them the question because you're not asking them, are you thinking about moving? Because that's a really awkward conversation, Ashley. You're asking them a question, who do you know that might be thinking about moving that I should talk to in the next 3 to 6 months?
It's who they know that you're trying to get to.
You don't ask them, are you thinking about it? Who do you know that might be thinking about moving? Guess what? If they themselves are thinking about moving, they will self-identify and say, actually, I am. Right? But if you ask them, who do you know? You're asking them to think of a name. It's not, do you know someone, Anne? Anne, do you know somebody thinking about moving? The answer is no, usually, Anne. And usually the person goes, no. Right? But if I say, who do you know? Now they have to think about a name, not answer a yes, no question, which is always no.
Alex,
yes, but you got to make it fast because we only have 5 minutes.
I'll say it very quickly. All the time, on the same note, don't you have coworkers or people that you know from wherever, like your mom's group or your church or, wherever you hang out? Don't they all the time randomly call you and say, listen, I lost my job. Can you help me get, can you forward my resume? Here's my resume. And you don't feel awkward doing that. It's no different, right? This is your job, right?
That's right. And by the way, there is no separation between personal and business anymore. If you're in real estate, it's all the same thing. It's all the same people. And if they love you, they're going to support you. And if they're not going to support you, maybe you shouldn't love them. No.
And I think, Ashley, you're just probably super relational, and that's why it feels uncomfortable to just, because you're like wanting to connect and you're fearing that you won't connect.
Yeah, just try it. Just do yourself a favor.
You're going to be awesome.
Actually, the funny thing is that I've been given the feedback that I'm not, I'm too direct. I go straight to the point, and I don't do the forward. I'm just like,
so you're right. You're right. So here's the other thing to keep in mind. One of the reasons you do the Great Pie giveaway, one of the reasons you either do the promotional item is you always give before you ask. So I want to give you value. I want to give you information. I want to share with you what's happening in the market. I want to share with you the contractors that I have. I want to share with you an item of value. I'm going to share with you something before I ask. That's why my ask is always at the end of the conversation. Oh, by the way, it's the Columbo, for those of you that remember Columbo, right? He'd always do his thing. He'd leave, and then he'd come back, stick his head in and be like, oh, by the way, blah, 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 blah. And that's where he would like actually did the zinger. The forward conversation is lovely. You're trying to connect with that person. You're trying to have a relationship. But the most important part of the conversation I had with Nalini, you know your name, is at the end when I said, who do you know that might be thinking about? Yes, I know. Right? All right, let's just make sure that I've covered everything because we're out of time.
I'm going to post in the chat box. Okay, Alex?
Yeah, go ahead. All right, so, oops. Boop. All right. Ahas. Okay. Capture, connect, cultivate your relationship. All right. So just so you guys know, this is where I work. So here, this little guy here, DC, that's where the capital is of the United States. So Maryland surrounds DC. So if you know anybody that's moving into or around DC, any of these green areas or blue areas, I'd love to get your referral. And by the way, just so you know, I do give a 30% referral fee. So if you have somebody that's coming here and I get a 10,000 commission, you get $3,000 of that, just so you know. And for those that are not in this area, take out your phone right now, scan that QR code real quick and save that onto your phone. And you can join my KW Agent to Agent Referral Network. We have over 12,000 people in this group. And that way you can connect with other agents across the nation. So Nalini, if you're looking for your own agent in San Diego, you can reach out to this group and say, hey, who's in San Diego that can help me find a place? Okay. So go ahead and scan that if you haven't. We'll send it out later. And then lastly, let's go ahead and if you haven't already done the eval, you can do the KWU eval. And you can this time do Ignite session 11, which is follow up with leads. So you can do that now. If you haven't done it yet, please do it now. And Angie's also going to be posting that in the chat.
I just did. I'm going to make sure I did the right one.
Fantastic. And then don't forget to do your daily success system. How many conversions have you done? How many contacts have you added? How many handwritten notes have you done? Your 10-5-1 social media engagement, any sort of enrichments, what sort of appointments have you done? Agreements, closings. Make sure you're dealing with all of that stuff that you're supposed to be doing with Ignite, okay? I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in a relationship with me. So just keep in mind that you're coming from a place of contribution. You know, maybe all you're doing is giving them the name of a plumber, and they go, you know what? Alex knows everybody. Like if I need something, I'm just going to call Alex first. That's what I want. Okay? Make sure you celebrate your successes. Go for no 100 times. Get those yeses occasionally. All right? Anybody want to share any ahas before we sign off today? We have 5 minutes left for any ahas that you guys want to share. Did you get a 5-star experience today, Cameron?
I did. I really did.
You did?
I love you as an instructor.
What was your biggest aha?
My biggest aha Well, currently I'm echoing. Cindy, can you mute that?
That's okay.
My broker is in here.
Oh, you mean her?
Yes. But my biggest aha was whenever you mentioned having a conversation with people when they ask, like, oh, how's the market? When you tell them you're in real estate and you kind of flip the question back to them and said, well, it depends. Like, you know, where are you going with it? So I just thought that was great because it is a different answer to a question that we will get very frequently.
Yeah. How's the market? Oh, it depends. Are you thinking about buying, selling, renting, or investing? So just list off, like, what are the 4 things? Buying, selling, renting, investing. That's all you ask. And then they're gonna redirect the question and say, well, I'm actually asking because of this.
The "it depends" is such a great response. It depends. And then it's like, then you just go straight into more specific information, and then you can give them more targeted information. Somebody said that they like the gift card idea, and there's a lot of good stuff on here. You're such a great teacher, Alex. Love the idea of handing the phone over to someone and having them put their info in. Cell phone method for contacts, referral gift card. Those were some of the feedback or some of the ahas that we got.
That's awesome.
That you got.
Well, I hope, other than Nalini, you all felt like you had a 5-star experience today. And thank you for coming and participating today. Thank you for contributing your evaluations for my Keller Williams University certification. I really appreciate that. And in case you or someone in your market center says, you know what, we need somebody to teach a class, I do travel around the country to teach classes. Of course, I do charge money for that. But that is something so that if you guys are like, we really need somebody to do like a business planning clinic, or, you know, win with sellers or win with buyers, or something that's a little bit more intense, a little bit more specific. This is just a flash of the kind of stuff that energy that I bring to the classes. So I'm definitely looking at you guys. And also remember, I'm never too busy for any of your Washington, D.C. or Maryland referrals. And I'm not kidding about that. I give a 30% referral fee. You can tell that I know what I'm talking about. And I would absolutely love to take care of one of your clients and make you look like a hero.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alex. Good job.
Thanks, Angie. And thank you, everybody, for participating. Go crush it. Go get your 100 no's and be successful. Every single one of you has the opportunity to be the rock star in your office. You just have to believe in yourself and know that you can do it. All right, guys?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys. Go ahead and sign off now. Thank you so much. If anybody has a last question, they can ask me right now. But everybody else, you can go ahead and jump out.
Oh, I have a question for you, Alex.
Okay.
If anyone pops up, I'll pop out. I'll wait. I'm doing contracts class tomorrow, and I'm going over buyer agency, but I also want to go over buyer dialogue. Can you help me with that? Do you want to spend a little time on Zoom, just like maybe 15 minutes of your time going through?
What time is it at?
Noon to 1 in Rockville.
High noon.
High noon.
Let me check.
Yeah, and if you do another night again, I'll be your co-host for 6 to 8.
Yes.
9 to 11. I can't do.
Yes, tomorrow I can help you. You just need to send me a message, text message tomorrow.
I'll send it tomorrow. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and we'll be doing another one of these sessions in January.
Yeah, I'm gonna get all the new agents, because I think we're looking at about 15 new agents that we have. So we need to get them into. They're doing great in orientation. Then I'm doing a follow-up email to the orientation, because we give them so much information, and their scope goes out here. So the secondary email I send kind of brings it back in. It's like, it's the trail marker, start here.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm going to want to get people signed up to January for sure.
Okay, Alexis, did you have a question? Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Hi, yeah, I just had a quick question about what you said about the QR codes for open houses. So do you mind just explaining that process? Do you like scan that and have them fill out the Google form before they enter the house, or how do you do that?
That's a great question. So the way I do it hang on. Technically I don't do it. I have an assistant that does it for me, but I taught her how to do it. So I can tell you. Anyway, so what I do first is I create the Google form, right? And then I create an answer spreadsheet from there. There's a button you can do that from there. Once I've created the Google form, I then take the URL. I then make sure that I'm sharing it because it's a Google app. You have to share it. So anybody with the link can access it. I then take that link and I go into one of the online QR code generators. I paste that link in there, get that image of that QR code, and then I actually have, oh, it's in the car. Oh no, hang on.
Somebody, McPherson, just so you know, I'm sending you Alex's contact info. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
I missed what you said.
Oh, somebody wants your contact info, and I'm gonna give it to him in the chat.
Yeah. So what I do is I actually have the guy that I had put out front, and it just says Open House Sanger Group, and that says, scan this with your phone. And it's just on one of these little, plastic stands, and I put it out front. I put a rock or something behind it just so it doesn't blow over. And I'll actually make them, oh, hi, nice to see you. Go ahead and scan that QR code. And once you've registered, I'll go ahead and call you and you guys can come in, okay? And then on my iPad, I'll have that answer spreadsheet. And so once I see their name pop up, I'll open the door and go, Sally, yeah, you're all good. Come on in. So it allows me to regulate it. It allows me to make sure that I don't have too many people in at the same time if it's a crazy busy one. But it makes sure that I get all their information.
Yeah, okay, that's awesome. Thank you, because I've been having issues with people signing in when they come.
Yeah, if you do it this way, and if they say, oh, I don't have my phone, bullshit, right? No, I don't take that at all. You have your phone. It's in your car. Oh, I'm sure it's in your car. Oh, okay. Well, are you with them? Why don't you borrow their phone? We'll go ahead and fill it out with it. I just need one per group. So if you guys are together, go ahead and you can just use hers. That's fine. And then if they say, oh, well, if they give you a hard time and they say, well, I'm not filling it out, then you say, that's okay. You don't have to. I just can't let you in the house. And I just want you to know that my seller wants to make sure that they have a record of everyone who comes to their house. I mean, you'd want that when you open your house to strangers, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Angie, you got anything else? Or are we good?
We're good.
All right. Bye, guys.
Okay. Am I free to clock out?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. Good luck on your next one.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.